Good morning to the interwebs. That was my little daughter poking the video there. So today we're going to start on the interior project mentioned in the previous video. Excuse the mess. It's embarrassingly dirty. I haven't cleaned the inside really good in a while. But let me show what we've got going on here. So this used to be a vinyl white bench seat. It was the base model, the dash. If you look up here, it's the tan color. It had the tan steering wheel, the big one, originally. And the door panels were white. I'm trying to think what else. These were white. The dash was a kind of a tan color, brown. I don't really know how to describe it. I think it had a little bit of a green tint to it. And so about 15 years ago, I did some work. Obviously I put in this velour seat, which has faded horribly. I mean, it's this kind of ugly brown color now. I have upgraded the seat belts. That was pretty easy. There's the little plug up here you guys will be familiar with, and you just pop that out. There's a hole there because there was a factory option for a shoulder, but it was the old school style where it kind of was a separate strap that hooked to the lap belt system. So it's pretty cool. It'd be kind of neat to find that. I don't know how practical it would be for a daily driver, but it'd be neat to have that set up. One little tip I did do is I used some of those battery terminal rings, the felt pad, to go underneath to keep it from rattling, because it was really obnoxious just going down the road. So also what I did is I did some custom vinyl work. This was some gray. I couldn't even find black, but it was some gray stuff that I could find at the local Walmart. I think it turned out pretty good. We chipped off the old hard vinyl, and then I just kind of wrapped it. You can see I didn't do a very good job of the ends. It looks okay from a distance. This one over here is really bad. It's kind of come unglued. Same thing up here. I hand stitched these ends here and just basically recovered the original ones, painted the brackets black. They used to be white. So just little things like that. Obviously I've upgraded the steering wheel. This at some point will be replaced with something similar. I'm going to do 1 inch bigger, and then the same pattern with wood and a Chevy symbol. So that's kind of the dream steering wheel for this truck. I like this pattern. I think it goes well with the gauges, and then the rims are the same kind of drilled look. So I like that overall theme, and I like how it all ties into these gauges. These will get replaced. We're going to do this in stages. Right now we're going to focus on the floor area up. So we're going to take all this out, do any repairs, fix any rusty spots. You can see we've got, these seals are horrible. The chrome plated, it's rusted through, worn through, and there's no coming back from that once the chrome's gone. So we're going to replace those. We're down to the vinyl carpet again. Not carpet, the vinyl floor. You can see it's tore up pretty bad. It's all cracked and falling apart. I did have some carpet in here. I don't know what it's called. It's almost like a felt when you feel it, but like a thin, awful felt. And once it gets dust on it, it just feels awful. And again, it was something I was able to find down at Walmart pretty cheap, and it looked good at the time. It was in there for most of this time. We just took it out a few months ago because it was so bad. Decided that the old vinyl floor was better at that point. But again, it was working with what I had at the time, and it served us okay for that time period. So that's kind of what we've got going on. That's the stages it's been through already. You can see I've done some stuff with the gauges in the past. These have been hand brushed with a silver paint, so they're not chrome anymore. But there was so much chrome missing, it looked horrible, especially on the edges here. And you can see I've repainted the gauges. Not the proper color. It's already fading. You're starting to see the yellow coming back through. So that'll all get done again at some point. But again, we're going to kind of do it in stages and pick away at it. So with that, we're going to start tearing this apart and see what we've got underneath.
Oh my god, I think I have an alien thing.
So here's one of the things that I was talking about with the broken seat is this end support spring has snapped. We'll see it when we get the seat out. I was able to look under and I could see it's broken. And so it's just no support at the end. The foam is deteriorated and collapsed. There's actually some additional padding in here that I added when I did this cover, but none of it's held up. So it's just, I mean, you can hear it, you can feel the springs, and the way you sit in the truck, it's all just awful. So that's kind of what's kicked this whole thing off, is how bad this seat is. So while we're in here, we're going to do things like replace these fuel tank lines. Every once in a while I get a faint smell of fuel. So we'll do that while we're in here, clean things up. Maybe we'll do some stuff with the jack storage. Oh look, we got an old window washer squeegee thing in here. I didn't even know about that. Alright, so next we get this vinyl out of here. Start with getting these old seals out. We're going to have to do something with the holes. A lot of them have been kind of stripped out over time. Let's start taking the screws out. Of course, my solution to it at the time was just to keep driving bigger screws in. So this is what it started with. Did some longer screws. I think they used to be even smaller than this. We'll get it sorted out. So if you look here, here's one of the problems we run into. You can see the lighter brown is a previous repair with a rust converter. Didn't get it all. There's a lot of flaking in here. We're gonna have to see how bad it is and we'll do something about it. Fun, fun, fun.
This screw will actually move.
Not those screws, baby.
Yeah, these screws. The door seal.
Oh.
There you go. I think that's an original screw. That little guy, very short, a little thinner. The joys of going from California to the Pacific Northwest is mold. That's one of the things we had to address immediately when we got up here. The drip rail was leaking. So quick fix at the time, it's just been silicone. We'll fix it properly later on. We're also doing new door seals. These have been replaced before, but they're already collapsed and shot, and they leak at the corner here. So we still got a small leak here. So we'll address that as well. The idea is to get all the leaks taken care of so we don't get any more water intrusion. That ruins the new interior.
Can't see Daddy's
and we'll take care of all this mold, eliminate it, and hopefully we don't get another reoccurrence of it.
Now what do we take apart?
Well, now we're going to take this black stuff out. Why don't we roll the trash can out?
Black stuff?
how quick the interior disappeared. Rose, do you get a brush and come clean this up? So this is what I was talking about. There's a plastic plug in here. In it, of course, from that. You just pop it out and the bolt's already there. The seat belt. Definitely want something to clean it. Maybe even on the other side of this. I think I'll add something. That way it's quieter. This will be cool. So I'll track down. I think LMC has them. We'll get the original jack sticker after we get this all cleaned up and painted. So in a few seconds here, I'm going to show you some close-up footage of the rust damage in the cab. I'm having to voice this over because I had some technical issue with my microphone. I ran into this a few times. Either the batteries would die on me or I would bump the plug on the pack that was sitting in my back pocket and it would cut out. So anyways, as you can see here, there is extensive rust damage. It's much worse than it used to be. You can see it went right through the kick panel there. I can actually get my fingers through it and in between that and the fender. It also went all the way through the floor. So this will make it much more extensive as far as repairs go. I ended up getting some panels through LMC. You can see here it also came all the way back to the rocker area. So we got some new panels in. We didn't use the full panels, we just trimmed exactly what we needed at them, welded them in, made it fairly seamless. Unfortunately, I had another technical issue and lost all of that footage. So I'm definitely learning a lot about all this as I go, as far as how to properly store and transfer these big video files. And then over here you can see it's the same thing on the right side, the passenger side. It's not as bad, but it will need the same treatment as the driver's side. So anyways, keep an eye out for upcoming footage of the various things we did along the way. It did end up kind of snowballing and running away from us. It became much more extensive. Instead of just doing seat and carpet, it basically turned into almost full cab restoration, and we'll keep you updated in the future videos. Make it a great day.